Yeah. What up, y'all? What up? What up? What up? Man, I really do hope this podcast finds you well. Hope everybody is healthy and wealthy. Just trying to get my sound right here. If you guys could give me a sound check here. We'll get the video going in a second. Good to have you all. Let's see, I'm getting a little feedback, I feel like. Hopefully this is better. Audio is good? All right. So, it's Friday. Good to have you all. I'm glad you guys could be here for the show tonight. We got a good one for you. Topics are pretty solid. Some stuff we got to cover in wireless, of course. Anything that's carrier related, phone related, smartphone releases, stuff like that. So we'll cover all that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else within the news cycle that we got to cover. I know we got a T-Mobile and Verizon story. They're going at it. There's also a T-Mobile Spectrum story. We'll cover that. And AT&T. We'll talk a little bit about their quarter earnings. What might be coming, this October the 22nd. So we'll see what happens there. What's going on, y'alls? Man, I see my mod squad's in the house. Yeah. Let's see. We got a bunch of people already here. 59 in the live. Hashtag mod squad. I see you, baby Yoda. I see you, Cat. Good to have you. I also see Lawrence. Chanel 808 Life. My dude. Qais, what is up, my brother? ARG Tech in the house. Kaz. Robert, good to have you. Ryan, Angel, Keon, my brother. Joeseph. Sean. Landon. David, good to have you as well. Ryan B. DGAF, Sean. Xavier, if I didn't get to you there. Barry, appreciate the feedback on that. Nice. Audio's good to go. All right, mic check 1 2 1 2. Viraxium, sounds good. All right, we're good to go. I see you got the prepaid Verizon, huh? Okay. Yeah, report back. Let me know how that is. What's up, NR? How you, man? Willie, my dude. There we go. Carlos finally shows up. Nadeem, my brother. Cesar, hey, man. Man, let's get this show going. Let's do this, man. Let's do this. Let's bring the music down a little bit, man. Let's get me to the start of the show. Yeah, you see me. I'm working for AT&T now. Look at that. AT&T in the house. I know. What are you guys going to say now, huh? Yeah, man. All right. So, in the show, well, first I want to thank y'all for being here. That's important. Do me a solid. Like this video. Share it. You got socials? Push it out for me. That helps the channel out tremendously. So if you got Instagram, if you got Twitter, if you got Facebook, share it. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you are unaware, we do have a Patreon page. There's a link in the description box for that. I have like 4 different tiers. Check out the SMT on Twitter at SneedTech. We got the Twitter handle down below. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and the audio-only version of the podcast. Duh. If you like these podcasts, but you actually want like the actual podcast, video not needed, check us out there. Make it on Anchor. Push it out to Spotify, Apple, Google. We're on all of them. You know? The red is under. Sean says, I need free service, Sneed. That's what I gotta say. Sneed be working for all the carriers. Nice. All right, man. What is up, Jarrett? How you, man? Let's do this. Let's do this. I will be recording the audio-only version of this podcast, so I will be doing that as well. Okay. I think we're good to go. So, got the stanky swag. Nice. Nice, Arturo. Nice. What do I do for Verizon? Dan, are you serious? All right. Before I get going with the contents of the podcast, I just want to give you all a little bit of heads up on what's up and coming down the pipeline here. We are expecting some news from AT&T October 22nd, 2020. They will be reporting their Q3 earnings. I'm sure a topic of that earnings will be the debt load that they are carrying and how they plan on continuing to try to shave that debt and work that down. It is extremely high. Their debt, I think, exceeds like $160 billion, so they got to work on that for sure. We'll probably get news on the mobility side. We'll get news on their fiber, which is a huge piece of what they're doing moving forward. It's a very profitable portion of their business, and it's also a very successful one, and customers love it. Very high satisfaction rating. Also, their media side, hopefully that's kind of getting squared away, whatever that looks like. HBO Max Insight would be good as well. That was the big push in Q2, and then the pandemic happened, and excuses start coming by. Maybe that has stabilized, and we'll get some information on that. Also, I do believe we are going to get some information on what they're going to be doing with DirecTV possibly. As of right now, we're hearing that there's like some kind of auction going on. I'll talk more about it later, but that is out there. So we'll be following that story. More on that in a bit as well. All right. Let's start with story number 1. This one's an interesting one. Not something that always makes it to the channel. Excuse me. The NAD, National Advertising Division. I don't know. I forget what the NAD stands for. Anyways, this is a branch of the Better Business Bureau. All right. And they are ruling on an issue between Verizon and T-Mobile. And it's kind of getting ridiculous, honestly. All right, so Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, they all exaggerate, they all lie. Let's be honest about it. Big John, good to have you, man. I hope this finds you well, and thanks for stopping by. Carriers lie. They will tell you anything to sell you their service. They will do whatever it takes to get your business and take it away from their competition. So what they do is they exaggerate the smallest bit of truth and they turn it into something completely enormous. So an example of this, the NAD has recommended to Verizon that they more accurately disclose their high-speed 5G service availability and claims. So basically what Verizon is doing is they are exaggerating their coverage and their speeds. No surprise there, right? Carriers lying and crying and all that good stuff. T-Mobile doing the same, also lying and exaggerating and embellishing the truth. Now, carriers sometimes just blatantly lie. Sometimes they just exaggerate. Those things can both happen. There was a couple of things that Verizon was claiming, and the NAD is making Verizon either modify or retract those claims. Now, prior to like the last year or so, I really have not been following anything from the NAD, but it seems like 5G has really brought out the worst in carriers when it comes to lying and not telling the truth. Anyways, there are some claims that the NAD is saying Verizon can keep so they can continue to advertise these things, okay? So they're saying, go ahead, continue to say those types of things. So Verizon was saying that Verizon's 5G is 10 times faster than T-Mobile's 5G, which is true, which is why I think the NAD is cool with that. They said, okay, well, looking at the data, looking at your average speeds on your 5G compared to T-Mobile's average speeds on your 5G, I guess you can keep saying that. Now, the other issue to this is there are other things that Verizon is saying that are not true, like it's 60 times faster than their LTE. Not the case. So they're going to make them retract that or modify that claim. So whatever. Anyways, the truth of the matter is, Verizon's 5G is extremely fast. It is very, very fast, like gigabits per second fast, but it is extremely limited, and it is not effectively deployed without having tons of nodes all over cities. And they're putting them all over poles and power poles and street lights and all that, and that's how that deployment's going to go. You're going to have to spend a lot of money deploying it, putting a ton of those nodes all over the place. And that build out is going to take time. Even if you do spend a lot of money, it's going to be very time consuming and labor intensive. Now, for the T-Mobile piece, T-Mobile's 5G is really no different than their own LTE. And it's really no different than any other carrier's LTE because they're using a low band deployment as their 5G national, whatever, you know. So the truth of the matter is their 5G is slow, but it's more available. So what the carriers are doing is the carriers are lying, trying to sell you their service. We have the most 5G. We have the most dependable 5G. We have the fastest 5G. Whatever. We're going to continue to see this type of nonsense moving forward. Just as a heads up, they're going to keep doing this. You know, AT&T with the whole 5G thing, this stuff is not going to stop. It is going to continue to be this marketing rhetoric. They're going to continue to try to embellish and exaggerate and lie. Why did my wife's message get deleted? Whoa. Who deleted my wife's message? What happened? No. Oh, no. Hopefully she can come back and leave me a message. Alright. Anyway, like I was saying, expect more. And actually expect this to get worse. And the reason I say expect it to get worse is because the marketing is going to get magnified. They're going to start dumping tons of money into advertising 5G because of the iPhone. Now that the iPhone is out and the iPhone is 5G compatible, this is going to be a big thing. You're going to see commercials. Apple iPhone 12, 5G is here. We got the best 5G in the market, right? So expect to see more and more. And now that sports are coming back, watch. And now that show productions are starting to come back, you know, that's what we're going to be seeing. Yeah, so, yeah, be on the lookout for that. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, man, that the marketing is going to be crazy. Yeah, Band 71 has good propagation characteristics, but it's not very fast. The channels are skinny. I wouldn't describe band 71 as fast. It can be effective, but I wouldn't describe it as fast, no. I'm more of a mid-band guy than a low-band guy. I guess if you're out in rural America in a very extended range area, maybe low-band is good enough, but in most applications, not the case. Most people live in suburbia and cities, so no. Yeah, Kathy, that's my wife. Don't censor the wife. Actually, you know what? Why is my wife not a moderator? That's really the question. Oh, it's not going to let me do it? Man. Let me see if I can add her as a moderator. How do I not have my... That's going to get me in trouble, isn't it? Oh, there it is. All right, so now she's a moderator. So now you can't... Nobody could time her out. No, don't feel bad. You didn't know, Kat. No problem. No issues. I'll talk to her. That's funny. I never would have thought that would have happened in a million years. Never even crossed my mind that she would get moderated like that. I'll tease her about it later. You're good, Kat. No worries. Sneed, I feel 5G is going to kill a lot of jobs because 5G is good for robots to replace human jobs. Well, somebody's got to build the robots. And somebody's got to manage the robots. And somebody's got to make the software and replace the parts. I don't know about all that. How much is AT&T paying you with the blue sweater? They're paying me $5, bro. $5. All right. What's the next story, man? We got to do the next story. I have no idea where we are in these stories. Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking about AT&T. This is a pretty good story, actually. And you're going to get a lot of my insight, my personal thoughts and opinions. You're going to get a lot of my, my thinking. Okay, so I'm going to let you into the mind of the SMT when he reads news about carriers and money and spending and auctions for spectrum. All right, so yeah. Story number 2. AT&T debt. All right, so AT&T has a lot of this. AT&T is a huge company. No way to slice it other than they are enormous. They're a massive conglomerate. Okay, so AT&T probably has somewhere in the neighborhood of $160+ billion in debt. The way that this happened was some really bad purchases, acquisitions made by their former CEO, Randall Stephenson. Randall Stephenson is no longer with the company. They have a new CEO. His name is John Stankey. Anyways, the reason this matters is because we're moving forward in 2020. The next generation of wireless technology is 5G. And there's going to be a slew of new spectrum coming to carriers for them to deploy as 5G. And the AT&T debt problem is kind of a thorn in their side because it may possibly prevent them from making the moves that they want to. And the reason I say that is if your balance sheet is all sorts of out of whack, it may either hinder your spending or it might even possibly derail it. So when a company doesn't have the free cash flow to spend, and investors, they don't like that. So it goes hand in hand. You manage your balance sheet. You don't operate with a large debt load. You pay debt. You can accrue it. You can build it, but you also have to pay it down. So and when your assets are high, you can carry a little bit of debt. But when your assets are low, investors don't really like to see that. Now, AT&T's assets are very high, but their debt is also very high. So part of that is a problem. Anyways, the C-band auction is in December. If you haven't looked at a calendar lately, that's like right around the corner. The pandemic has everybody like completely just disoriented in time. All right. But it is October 16th at the time of this recording. The C-band auction is at the middle of week number 2 in December. So quite literally 2 months away, we have an enormous game-changing spectrum auction that is going to probably impact 5G and wireless carriers and network operators for probably the next 3 years. That's how big time C-band auction is. All right, so being that AT&T's balance sheet is a huge concern, these are residuals and leftover problems from former CEO Randall Stephenson. That era of purchasing and acquiring other companies has left them in bad shape. So the Time Warner Media acquisition, the DirecTV acquisition, throw in the fact that, not only was DirecTV like $60+ billion, the Warner Media purchase was like $100+ billion, and then their business is down, pandemic related, right? Their focus as of right now is really just shave debt. They're just trying to reduce their debt load, trying to fix that balance sheet. They've got tons of employee layoffs. That was scheduled from the beginning of the year. They have a lot of store closings, which are ongoing. We're seeing more of that. They've closed hundreds of stores, from what I understand. And they have laid off thousands and thousands of workers. All of that was planned from the beginning of the year, even pre-pandemic. So, yeah, it's pretty extensive. Now, they're currently in the works, supposedly, of auctioning off DirecTV. The problem with the DirecTV deal was they paid over $60 billion for this company. They're not going to get that back. They're not getting $60+ billion back. They're not getting $50+ billion back. They're not going to get $30+ billion back. They're not even going to get half. They might not even get a third of it. They're going to be taking a hit. A lot of experts in the know, analysts, whatever, they're claiming that they would not be surprised if AT&T was not able to get $20 billion out of DirecTV. So, that being said, they're taking a loss. And if they can successfully get rid of this company and try to get some of this money back and fix up their balance sheet a little bit, they've got a time restriction here because it's already mid-October. So how long is that deal going to take, and how effective will it be to try to close that deal in the next month and a half? Right? They really do have to close out that deal. So if they can do it, they'll put themselves in a good position moving into December with this fire sale of DirecTV, however it turns out. It looks like they're also going to be selling European Media Enterprise, which is a business arm of theirs that is valued at $1.1 billion. Word is that the DirecTV deal might end up for like 15 or 16 billion. That's the estimation from those in the know. They are also trying to sell components of the Warner Brothers company. They're all on the chopping block, so if it's a situation with like games, and they got Xandr that's up for sale, if they can get all of this done in the next month and a half, 2 months, then maybe it puts them in a good position in the C-band auction. It's just really close. The time is going to be the hard part. Hey, Jess, good to see you. C-band is going to be so critical for the big two carriers, for AT&T and Verizon. Now, the reason we all kind of know Verizon's in a spectrum squeeze right now, so no surprises there. But T-Mobile's probably the least affected in C-band. I just don't know how much they really need, nor do I know how much interest they have in acquiring much of it. Some are speculating they'll get a small amount. Some are saying not much. I don't think anybody thinks they're going to do any, major amount of spectrum. They own so much right now from the Sprint deal. So T-Mobile's in excellent shape when it comes to mid-band. They've got tons of the 2.5 gigahertz from Sprint. They don't need the 3.7 gigahertz in the C-band that much. They might think to themselves, maybe we could use a 40 megahertz channel. That might kind of spark their interest. But, AT&T is in a better position than Verizon, obviously. But they will need the spectrum in order to compete in 5G moving forward. You simply have to build a portfolio of spectrum assets. That's what AT&T has done up to this point, and it's suited them well. So they're in better shape than Verizon, but they're not even close to what, Sprint has. So that being said, I think Verizon obviously will be a big player in this auction. I think, the Spectrum auction in December is going to be dominated by Verizon. There's actually going to be like 2 major phases of this auction. Phase 1, which will be for the first 100 megahertz of C-band, and then Phase 2 will be the other 180 megahertz of it. I think Verizon's bringing the money bags. They're going to do as much as they can to get as much of that first 100 megahertz as they can. So if that means they're going to leave with 60 megahertz or 80, I think that's probably where they're going. Maybe they don't get all 100. Maybe AT&T wants to get 20 or 40 megahertz. I don't think T-Mobile wants anything to do with that first 100 megahertz of C-band. I think it's going to be all AT&T and Verizon. The question is does it go like 60-40 or, whatever the case may be? And I think in like Verizon's case for that round one, at least 60 megahertz, mostly national, mostly. AT&T, 20, 40 megahertz. I feel like 40 is probably more fitting. Probably mostly national as well. And I think the scraps or wherever those two, the big two, don't get spectrum holdings, expect big cable to kind of clean up, wherever the big two don't have it. So now the second stage of the spectrum auction is going to be for the other 180 megahertz. So it's 280 total, 100 megahertz for the first 100, kind of like phase one, and then 180 megahertz in phase two. And of course, the first 100 becomes available almost instantly, like within the calendar year. The other 180 megahertz a year after that. So it's going to take time because that stuff has to be decommissioned from satellite operators. So that's why it's kind of broken down like that. The first 100 is going to be decommissioned and repackaged in December and ready for deployment. So it's important to note that's how that breakdown is. The second stage is really a wild card. I don't know how that's going to play out. But even if Verizon ends up with like 60 or 80 megahertz in the first stage of that spectrum auction, I still think they're going to be a big player in the second phase of that. T-Mobile will also probably bargain hunt in that second phase. They're probably going to be looking for, like I said, maybe a 20 or a 40 megahertz piece. Try to create a channel out of C-band, but definitely not in the first part. Probably more likely the second part. The value will be a little bit better, probably. Maybe they'll clean up in areas where T-Mobile or where AT&T and Verizon are not. So that could be the case. Total speculation. It just seems to make sense based on their spectrum position, in my opinion. You got a super chat? I'm sorry, man. I can't see super chats right now. It's not showing them to me. But yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate the super chat, bud. Thank you, Cesar Mobile Tech. Thank you very much for those considerations. It didn't show me a super chat, so, but thank you. I think Verizon will probably match what they do in the first phase of the auction with the second phase. So, for example, if Verizon gets 60 or 80 megahertz in the first phase, I think they do the same in the second phase. I really do. If AT&T gets, 40 megahertz or 20 megahertz in phase one, I expect them to do the same in the second. I really feel that Verizon's endgame is to get at least 140 megahertz of spectrum. At least. Maybe 160 out of that 280. I really do. Do they pull it off? I don't know. Hey, thanks, Lawrence. Appreciate the super chat, buddy. Thank you, man. You didn't have to do that, bro. You're a big supporter of the Patreon. Not necessary, man, but we do appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, if Verizon walks away with 140 megahertz, AT&T walks away with like 60 or 80, I think that kind of is realistic. I think that's something that we could see happening for sure. AT&T didn't pick up anything in CBRS and Verizon did. So maybe Verizon doesn't go so big. Maybe they only go with like 120 megahertz or maybe 100. I don't know. I really don't. We'll see what happens. But Verizon and Dish were big winners in the CBRS. I think we also have to count Dish in for C-band. I really do. I think they're going to have to walk away with at least, 40 megahertz national. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see where that auction goes and who ends up getting spectrum and how much and stuff. My brother Jamaal, what is up, dude? Good to see you, man. We'll see what happens. I'll be following that situation closely. Man, the auction is so close. Literally the second week of December. Very exciting times. We know that's going to have an impact on 5G moving forward in the very near future. Man, drinking the soda, I'm getting the burps. I've got a lot. Very active in the live chat right now. Good to have you guys. Thank you for being here. I see 156 in the live. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. Please give this video a like and a share. That helps out tremendously. Thank you so much for that. And you all are tremendous. Hashtag tremendous. SMT Nation, stand up. Hey, Lavendi, what's up, Bretta? Good to see you, man. Hey, Barry. Considering all the Verizon millimeter wave nodes popping up around my area, will Verizon need much CBRS? I think so. Yeah. The propagation characteristics of CBRS is better than millimeter wave. We'll see what type of power they're able to kind of transmit with, but we'll see. We shall see. Hashtag tremendous. Hey, thanks, William. Yeah. People forget about the process of putting up towers and nodes, right, Sebi? Tower permits, man. You ain't lying. Yeah. All right, what else do I got for you guys today? What do we... Man, we're already like 32 minutes in. Wow. Time flying when you're doing the live streams. All right. Now, before everybody starts getting crazy, we're going to do this T-Mobile story. Don't attack me. Don't get mad at me for questioning what T-Mobile is doing here. I got a reason, all right? Just hear me out. All right, story number Trey. That's French for 3, for those of you that are, international speakers and foreign language speakers. All right, so T-Mobile, we have just found out. Like, this news, fresh off the press. I just caught it. Big shout out to Lightshed Partners, Walt from Lightshed Reading. We just found out that they are going to be leasing more 600 megahertz spectrum. I know, Robert. I'm playing. I know it's Spanish. T-Mobile's going to be leasing more 600 megahertz spectrum. They currently have a deal with Channel 51, fresh off the heels of a deal with Dish. Columbia Capital, they have a deal in the recent past, and then LB Licensing Company. They have licensing deals for 600 megahertz with all of those companies. And apparently that's not enough. Look, I do not doubt Lightshed Partners. This makes not a surprise, okay? I'm not surprised that they're doing this because this seems to be the MO of T-Mobile. T-Mobile has formally requested that the licensing lease approval for a deal with T-Star, a 3-year lease valued at $300 million annually for a 10 megahertz access in 12 of the top 50 United States markets. I have questions and I have concerns. Now, in terms of the markets, Phoenix, Sacramento, Las Vegas, San Antonio, Indianapolis, just to name a few. Those are cities where their speeds have dipped. Probably like, I don't know. Maybe they're down 10, 20, 30%, right? Maybe there's some serious congestion or something. I don't know. So what they're doing is they're trying to bolster that speed in those areas, and that's good. I'm telling you, that's a good thing. The problem is they just acquired Sprint. I mean, you can call it a merger and that's fine, but the truth of the matter is Sprint doesn't exist in this outfit anymore. They walked away. They sold, 2/3 of their shares. It was an acquisition. And T-Mobile strategically put themselves in a position to succeed in the mid-band spectrum approach, which is smart and good. It reduces their need for millimeter wave for a while. Now, eventually they'll have to get to millimeter wave, but when their network is more mature, that's probably what they're going to do. Anyways, my concern is this. By signing and requesting more access to 600 megahertz for 3 years, on top of deals they have with Dish for almost 4 years, This is telling us something. Unfortunately, this is an indication that the T-Mobile 2.5 gigahertz network initiative is not going to be done anytime soon. These lease deals are starting at 3 years. Some are pushing closer to 4 years. Now, what I'm saying is completely opinion because only Neville could tell you the truth. But I don't listen to what carriers say. I listen to what carriers do. So Neville's telling us our network plan, this is the first in the very beginning, our network integration plan was going to take 3 years. Since then, it has morphed into from 3 years to 2.5 years to 2 years. And then even as, I think as recently as like 2 months ago, he said, don't be surprised if we do it under 2 years. He is, this guy, it's their lofty expectations that I don't think he should be making. He should not be setting himself up to put such a large target on his back. You could say, well, we want to do this and we want to do that, but it's so unrealistic based on their capex. T-Mobile's never had big spending. They've never been that type of carrier. They've never been a large carrier. Now they're a large carrier. Their spending has to kind of follow suit. They're serving way more customers. They're a much bigger operation, bigger business. So we're expecting them to spend more, but we don't really know how much more. If you're going to finish a network build in 2.5 gigahertz nationwide and also upgrade those tower sites with 600 megahertz as well, you're going to have new builds too. You're going to have to decommission some towers from Sprint. You've got a lot to do. Doing it in 3 years would be impressive, in my opinion. I know what they've got to do. It's a lot. In fact, if they did it in any time frame under 4 years, I would be impressed. But he's kind of turned this into like, let's blow smoke up everybody's what, and let's try to get this done in under 2 years. That's crazy. Unrealistic and crazy. And I think foolish. Right? I don't think anybody should believe it either. I just don't. I don't care, what their approach is. It needs so much spending that they historically have never done. So my point in all of this is to say, don't listen to what carriers say. Listen to what carriers do. They're signing lease deals for 600 megahertz spectrum for anywhere between 36 to 48 months. That's how long 2.5 gigahertz is going to take. Because 2.5 gigahertz spectrum holdings, they're going to be able to create channels of 100 megahertz and 60 megahertz and 20 megahertz and all these other, different configurations. What is 20 megahertz of band 71 going to do compared to that? Right? The capacity at 2.5 gigahertz is much higher. So don't listen to what carriers are saying. Watch what they do. They're signing lease deals for 3 and 4 years. That's how long 2.5 gigahertz is going to take to deploy. He's telling us. T-Mobile is telling us how long it's going to take. In what they do. Right? Look at the deals they're signing for X amount of months, for X amount of years. That's how long it's going to take. So I don't care, Betty Crocker, layer cake, cupcakes, zebra cakes, clown cakes, tiramisu. I don't care what it is. Carrot cake, cheesecake. It doesn't matter. It could be, hoopacini muffins. You know what I'm saying? Zucchini cake. I don't know. It doesn't matter what Neville tries to tell me, or the public for that matter. You can buy it if you want. I ain't buying. I don't make cakes. They're signing lease deals for 3 and 4 years. That's how long it's going to take to build out 2.5 gigahertz. I don't care what type of cakes. I don't care what type of cupcakes, man. I'm having fun with this. All right? Pound cake. Oh, man. Neville's fun, man. I ain't going to lie. Neville is fun. I follow him on Twitter. It's a good time, But, again, I try to tell you guys, always watch what the carriers do. Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. And actually, that's kind of where I want to leave the Audio Only podcast. Thank you for listening. Thanks for coming by and hearing what the SMT has to say. Hope you enjoyed the show, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one. And we'll keep it on the YouTube side. We'll keep this thing going, man. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about the whole cake thing. I really don't, Robert. I really don't. The cake thing, it is a horrible analogy. Man, honestly, when I hear the whole cake analogy, it's really cringe. I literally feel like it's an insulting or an insult to intelligence. Like, it's not hard to explain to people. There's low band, mid band, and then there's high band. It's millimeter wave. They're microwaves, right? Without getting technical, right? Low band travels far and works well in buildings. Mid band doesn't travel as far, but it's much faster. And they have millimeter wave, which travels even, less and propagates even less, but it's really, really fast. Like, that's not hard to explain to a human. But I feel like whatever marketing team and whatever people are there building these analogies, and they got race cars and they got soccer balls and they got all this other stuff, it's just dumb. But I guess it's not for me. I guess they're marketing to the commoner who doesn't care or whatever. Robert, you ain't got to tell me, bro. I see it. 600 megahertz, all right? I got you, But it's just stupid, because now what's happened is they've turned this layer cake analogy into this Betty Crocker thing. Now they're taking pictures of cake mix, right? And they're baking cakes. I mean, before you know it, you're going to be going into a T-Mobile store and they're going to be playing patty cake. Patty cake. It's going to be crazy. They're already, they got two T-chains already up in there. You got all this other stuff going on. It's a bunch of, and actually I haven't really been seeing much dancing going on lately. So something must be happening over there in the T-Mobile retail space. Hey, Teddy, what's going on, man? Don't insult Betty Crocker. This stuff is knockoff cake mix. Dan, T-Mobile does have N260 and 261. They haven't really deployed much of it since July of 2019. Don't forget they're using dinosaurs now? What is happening, Arturo? Arturo, get at me on Twitter. Show me this dinosaur stuff. I gotta see this. Finally got our live stream. You must be busy working, man. Jay says the money they spend on marketing this layer cake. Man, I don't know. Man. It's weird. Kathy says Eugene scares me. Uh-oh. Hopefully he ain't scaring you too much. My brother, MT Houston, Texas. Appreciate the super chat, my brother. This iOS won't let me do $5 even. Anyways, I want some Cheesecake Factory now. Oh, man. So, Sebi, the T-Mobile is buying leases of Band 41. So, is that in areas where they don't have it? Because, I mean, they do have a lot of it, right? Barry says, feels like a pyramid scheme to me. Wait, Cash Games, what's going on with the dinosaurs? Tell me about this. Somebody tweet the dinosaurs things at me. DM me or something. I want to see what this is about. Landon says, T-Mobile for me has had a lot of congestion issues, but in some areas I've seen some really congested areas go from unusable to usable, having decent speeds for 720p and 1080p video. That's the name of the game, right? Hey, what's up, nephew? How you? BF says Mike Sievert's literally the Riddler, the polar opposite of Batman. Gosh, I miss John. A lot of people miss John. Absolutely. Thanks, Arturo. I'll check it out, man. Have I seen this? Like, what is that about? All right. Kathy says long-term leases that T-Mobile is buying. I mean, we want to see them deploy their spectrum. We want to see them put 2.5 build out, right? Phony creepy smile. Sounds like Biden. Oh, God. Getting political now, aren't we? Man. Dan says have 100 to 160 mega. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's certain markets, Dan, where they don't have the 2.5, so they want to kind of, you know, fill in those gaps. That's possible, I'm guessing. See you, John. Found out how to get full signal bars on iPhone. Switch back to T-Mobile. I had improved the coverage by manually selecting the network instead of being on auto search. So what are you doing? You're going between like T-Mobile and Sprint, I'm assuming? I don't know. I'm assuming. I'm not sure. Too much cake. You ain't lying, D-Gaff. I'm done with the whole cake thing, man. Nothing personal. How long will the Note 9 be effective with T-Mobile and Sprint? Am I good for a while? Well, you're good on the LTE side. The problem is whatever they do with NR, you won't have access to. So as they're building out 2.5 gigahertz for NR, you won't be accessing that. So MS with the 2.71 super chat. Always with the 2.71. Band 41 would be great, but at least Band 71 gives us something. Yeah, well, the T-Mobile and Sprint merger was all about 2.5 gigahertz, so we got to see that get put into action. Sebby, everybody likes real cake, bro. I don't like layer cake. I do like cake. I'm sick of Neville's cake. You know, it's that analogy is really just cringe, man. Neville said using 60 megahertz right now of N41. Yeah, I have seen that. What's up, Bart? Which carrier did you order the iPhone 12 on, or did you order it unlocked to try on multiple? Actually, I'm not buying the iPhone right now. I don't know where I'm gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it from a carrier or not. I'll probably buy it unlocked, honestly. I don't know. We'll see. And that layer cake looks delicious. John says cake is the reason why I'm chubby. John, I thought you were chubby because, you know, you've been eating all the not the layer cake, bro. You've been eating the tiramisu, you know. Sebby says here N41 is 40 megahertz. I mean, that's a decent channel. 60 is where it's at. I think they're gonna push to 80. That would be smart. You get some real capacity there. Is a Verizon getting like T-Mobile saying they didn't? Oh, yeah, with DSS. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, Verizon. Absolutely. It's the same thing. If you think about it, like in December of 2019, T-Mobile turned on 5G, right? And what they did was they took 600 megahertz, they took a slice off the LTE, and they put it to 5G. DSS is essentially doing the same thing, but instead of allocating separate channels, you know, it's a shared access. So DGAF, the 5G school thing, I do not know what's going on at T-Mobile, man. They must be bored. They got nothing better to do, man. Like, plan that. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. That 5G school thing is nuts. You know, Teddy, if you need a network booster, you need a new carrier. Honestly, man. I'm not buying a network booster. I don't live in rural America to need a network booster. I mean, if I did, that's understandable, but I don't. So I'm not into network boosters, no. I call T-Mobile weekly to remind them. Nice, dude. Yeah, Sebby, they said they want to do 80 megahertz. We'll see. Arturo says it's better for you to buy unlocked so you can test two networks at the same time. Yeah. Maybe one physical SIM, one eSIM. Yeah. Have you seen Neville's 5G University on this? Yeah, man. Don't take Neville seriously. I don't even know if Neville really knows what he's doing when it comes to marketing and social media. I don't know. Sad to say, but now that the iPhone has 5G networks, we'll probably roll it out to more areas faster. That's probably true. Probably true. Yeah, Cameron, they got the dinosaur thing. I'm going to have to peep that out. T-Mobile is basically giving away iPhone 12s away with the 5G school thing. I don't know, man. I haven't really clicked on any of that, honestly, man. I'll check it out. I don't know, man. It's so tacky, man. I don't know. Rob says he's in his basement on T-Mobile. T-Mobile's the only company that doesn't work in my basement. The others do. Even Sprint works in my basement. Keon, I heard DC's getting a lot of N41. We're getting nothing here yet, man. Maybe they're upgrading towers. We'll see what happens. What's up, JR? Good to see you, man. As soon as N41 comes to the CLE, you guys know I'm going to be testing it, so I'm looking forward to that. Speeds here, they claim are getting better. I don't know. The upload is really bad, so hopefully that gets fixed soon. I still can't really live stream well. It's all right, but it's not really good. I can't really hold a Periscope live still, so frustrating. T-Mobile can't pay me to buy that ugly phone. I think he's talking about the iPhone 12. I'm 0.4 miles from 2 towers. How is it so bad? Shouldn't be. Should not be. Dude, if you're within a mile of a tower, you should be getting 100 megabits per second. Right? You should have access to like 3 or 4 carriers depending on your, provider. Should be really fast. JR says T-Mobile gave me $275 down on N71. I'm sure. Well, what are the other carriers, dude? Because 10 megahertz channels can't do that. Arturo says they're trying hard to maintain. John Leisure's entity thing is starting to look a bit too ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing, man. John, you might be right. Maybe Neville doesn't even really know what's going on, and they're just using it as marketing. Yeah, I'll have to check that out, Sebi. Thanks for sharing that, man. It's interesting. US Mobile rolling out 5G Verizon soon, getting 3 months for $100 when it launches. I'm on the wait list, and yes, millimeter wave too. Interesting. I'm gonna have to test that out myself. I'm 1,000 feet away from my tower, and it's 0 megabits per second. What? It's horrible, dude. Probably being worked on. That's why no signal. AT&T gives me 195 down, but it's LTE. Meh. Makes no difference to me if it's LTE or 5G. I don't care. Right? It's all about the throughput. James says Verizon took over the name of the uncarrier now. Their CEO is doing a nice job. The business is thriving. They're doing a pretty nice job, I will admit. Got to call a spade a spade. BF, I agree. John was one of a kind. Mike's just kind of, he's Mike, he's Eugene. There's falling lines on pretty much all the carriers. Run cables through my town. Sprint had discovered a high failure rate in my area when I had them. Wow. Oh, snap. TK in the house. Major salute, bro. Using the full 2 on Verizon, NOLA, and it's awesome. Yo, TK, do they have millimeter wave out there? Maybe you could do some testing, man. I don't know if the Fold 2 has millimeter wave, though. But I'm sure you got a millimeter wave phone. Because I think you have don't you have the Note Ultra? That thing's definitely millimeter wave. Yeah, let me know. If you do get connected to some ultra wideband, let me know, man. Let me know. Hashtag save the bear. Yeah. Ultra wideband, nice. Arturo, do you think the current LTE and R connections will come to an end eventually? If your phone doesn't support standalone 5G, you'll be obsolete. Well, you got a couple of years. As soon as they transition to standalone, you know how the transition goes. A little bit of time in between. If you upgrade to a device right now, your phone's going to be good for a couple of years. That's just kind of the way it is. As technology improves. I don't know about you guys, but I upgrade phones every year. Last year I bought like 6 phones. Or this year in 2020. I had an iPhone. I had 2 iPhones. I had a XS Max. I had an 11 Pro Max. Big shout out to Carlos. I had a Note 10 Plus 5G. I had a Note 10 Plus LTE. I have an S20 Plus, Motorola Edge Plus. I know there's a couple I've already forgot to mention. I've had tons of phones this year, and I know you guys don't do it because you don't have a channel, you're not testing and all that. But I don't know, man. You're gonna be upgrading your phone. And to be honest with you, as 5G kind of quickly evolves and finally catches traction, you're probably going to be upgrading your phone every year and a half, right? Probably no later than every 2 years, because you're going to be behind in technology. It's going to evolve really quickly. I could see potentially, if you were going to try to keep up with all the new technologies, you might be upgrading annually, right? So maybe you want to consider a program, the annual upgrade thing with Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile, iPhone for life, Galaxy for life, where you just get the new one every year. Seriously. You know what, William? Carlos is telling me I need to try the LG chicken wing, and I guess I'm going to do it. I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to try the LG chicken wing. All right. He says it's great for a content creator. I'll check it out. David, I don't know about mid-rangers, man. The processing power isn't there, man. I have to disagree. on that one. New sites in Denver, LA, and Phoenix, from what I'm seeing. Just talking about, bruh. I know, Carlos, the LG chicken wing, man. Yes, the chicken wing. Carlos, man, you're terrible, bro. Got everybody calling it the chicken wing. Anyway, I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and wrap up the show. I'll just kind of do some closing things, and we'll be done for today. I want to thank everybody out there who provided a donation. Thank you guys for supporting the SMT, all the channel and its productions. Big shout out to my patrons. And actually, you know what? Let's switch up screens. Let's do that. Bam! Yes, thank you for being a part of the SMT community. I really do hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you to all who took part today. Hashtag 2LiveCrew if you were here in the live. Hashtag replay crew if you're watching this on recording. Big shout out to TK. Thank you for the donation, man. Another one. Another one. Hashtag ravioli gang if you're watching this while you're eating dinner or if you're hungry. Thanks, Teddy. Appreciate the donation. Also, hashtag mod squad. All of my big blue wrench friends. Appreciate you so very, very much. TK, I thought I had you as a mod, man. That must be the other channel. Oh, no, you are a mod. Okay. All right. Got you. I was going to say, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Big shout out to all my mods. Hashtag mod squad. For those of you that have been lurking, maybe this is your first time here, consider becoming a subscriber. All you got to do is tap on the channel icon, hit subscribe, activate the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload or a live stream from the SMT. And if you want to take your network enthusiasm to the next level, check out the SMT Patreon page. We have links in the description box for all things going on with the community, including links to the Patreon, the SNeedTech Twitter handle, and the audio podcast. So check us out there on all those things and our social media, right? Our Twitter handle. Yep, that's it. Let's do it. Appreciate you guys for being here tonight. Thank you for watching. Give this video a like. Give it a share to all your socials. Appreciate it very much. I wish you wealth. I wish you health. And we hope to see you very, very soon. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Yeah.